Greetings everyone, I'm History Dude and thank you for joining me on our journey through time. Today I'll be sharing with you the plague that killed a third of Norfolk, Virginia's population in 1855. It was a yellow fever epidemic. Our story starts on June 7th, 1855, when the steamer Ben Franklin arrived in Hampton Roads from the Virgin Islands, where yellow fever was rampant. 2 crewmen had died of the fever along the way, and the steamer laid in quarantine for 12 days before going into repairs at Gosport Shipyard, modern-day Norfolk Naval Shipyard in Portsmouth, Virginia. On board were stowaway mosquitoes carrying deadly yellow fever. When the ship pulled into port, the mosquitoes flew to shore and began to feed on the local population, starting with Irish Row, a tenement on the Portsmouth waterfront. When word got out about the disease, those residents evacuated to Barry's Row in Norfolk, and yellow fever became an epidemic there by early August. The homes and all their contents on Barry's Row were burned to the ground on the night of August 9th, a futile attempt to curb the spread of the yellow fever. That summer was known as, quote, the Summer of Pestilence. Citizens fled both cities in panic. At Old Point, they were turned away by soldiers with bayonets. Other cities enforced quarantine or imposed fines. That same August, businesses and offices had closed. Church services were suspended. Doctors and nurses came from all around the country to offer their services, many falling prey to the disease. At peak infection, around the 1st of September, as many as 80 people died per day, with 400 burials in the first week of the month. An estimated 3,000 people died in Norfolk. That's about 1/3 of the entire population, while more than 1,000 died in Portsmouth. In Norfolk, the Howard Association hired 25 additional gravediggers, and martial law was declared so that the city could requisition private vehicles to collect the dead. Because the supply of coffins ran out early on and the gravediggers couldn't keep pace with burials, people left the dead, sometimes wrapped in the bedclothes in which they died, next to undug graves and alongside the roads that ran through the cemeteries. During the worst weeks, the dead were buried in long trenches, often in 2 layers in Potter's Field. One place that is a reminder of that time is Yellow Fever Park in Norfolk, a marker on a mound to commemorate the massive loss of life. What's even more tragic is the children whose parents perished in the epidemic. It was such a problem an orphanage had to be established. Both Norfolk and Portsmouth struggled to care for many children who were orphaned, although likely most were eventually taken in by family members elsewhere. The Howard Association opened a temporary orphanage in Norfolk where the care of 372 children was supervised by the Sisters of Charity. After the epidemic was waned, it was made a permanent institution, the Jackson Orphan Asylum, named for the Reverend William N. Jackson, an Episcopal clergyman who helped organize care for the orphans before he died in the epidemic. I hope you've enjoyed our journey together. If you have, hit those like and subscribe buttons down below and leave me a comment. I'm your local historian, and that's History Dude.